In today's wood story, I'm gonna teach you how to take a regular fence board like this one and turn it into a classy but functional wine cover, perfect for your large parties. So go grab your tools and let's start this wood story. To kickstart this project, I have chosen to use some inexpensive cedar fence boards. They are so amazing. They're nice and aromatic and great for water resistancy naturally. Now, normally you would be using cedars for projects outside, but there is nothing that says that you can't use it for inside as well. So this is gonna be a really, really gorgeous wine box once we are done. These boards are 6 feet long and they are 5 1/4 wide as of right now. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean up the one edge because we are going to need to glue it together with itself, and I want a nice straight edge before we get started. And I'll just do that over on the table saw. And then I'll glue one of them together. And that's gonna give me a bit of a wider piece, which I'm looking for, because we need a wider piece that's about 10 inches wide once we get started with the cuts. So let's jump into that now. I've gone ahead and made these plans available on my website. The link is right down in the description. Now, while I process the wood, I want to bring your attention to the thickness of the wood that I'm working with. It is exactly 1.5 centimeters, and this measurement is important for the box to assemble correctly. So unless you want to make adjustments to the plan, then start with wood the same thickness, which also happens to be the same size as standard fence boards come in. So I may have made it easy for you. So the two boards have now been fused into one, and we have just over 10 inches of width to work with, or about 26 centimeters. Now we will need 25 centimeters for one of these cuts, which is the bottom. However, I still want to take off just a little bit of a side because some of them are still looking a little yucky, but I have to be super careful when I do that because I don't want to take off any more than necessary or I won't have enough wood. So just be mindful of that as you do the same thing. And then afterwards, I'm gonna cut them as per the measurements that you can check out right here. And I'm gonna do the bottom, the side, the top, and then another side. And that's just gonna allow for a little bit of grain match all the way around, which is gonna look really nice in the end. So the 4 pieces are now cut to size. This is the side 2, the top, the side 1, and the bottom. And right now there's a really nice grain match going on, but it won't be exact once the box is completed. And that's because this piece actually needs to shift back a little bit. So you can see that once we have this in place, it's not gonna be an exact grain match. Now, if you want to have it be an exact grain match, then you would have had to have this one be longer to begin with, because essentially what this one needs to do is it needs to be able to overlap at the end. So you would need about another 1.5 centimeters on the back if you want to maintain that grain match, and then you would have had to cut off a little bit on the front afterwards as well. I'm not going to do that for this one just because I still want to keep it at just at a level where you don't have to worry too much. But essentially, once you have these 4 pieces, it is time to cut out these grooves here. So let me just bring over the drawing just to show you what that is. So we have this groove right here that's going to need to be cut out. And I'm gonna do that over on my bandsaw, but you can definitely do that with a jigsaw as well. And I have just marked that out right now, so do refer to the measurements. So this distance right here is 2 centimeters in, and we're sitting 1.5 centimeters from the top. And I have marked it because this is the piece that we're going to cut away. But I'm not gonna do it yet, because before we do, we actually need to make a routed groove on the other side. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm just marking it just so that I know for later that this is the side that everything is going to be happening on, because the routed edge needs to be on this side, but on the underside. So I'm gonna finish doing that on this side, and then we'll go over and start the routering. So now that I've marked what we need to cut out, before we do that, we're gonna go to the other side and work on the routed edge. So remember, this right here is the top, and essentially what's gonna happen is once we have this flipped up like this, I'm just gonna put it down so you can actually see it, but this is now the inside of the wine box. It's gonna have a panel like this that's gonna go up and down, and that's in order to get the wine box inside of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark 1/2 centimeter in, and then we're gonna do a groove that is the same width as this board right here. So essentially something like that. Might be a little hard to see, but something like that. That's where our groove is going to be all the way, and that will correspond with, when we go on the other side again, this point right here. So just like that. You'll have this much left afterwards. So I'm just using my carpenter square to mark the groove I'm going to router away. I always like the visual reference as it helps me from making too many mistakes. You will notice that instead of stopping this router cut 1.5 centimeters from the edge, I'm actually going all the way through. I originally thought that I had found a way to do this just by using a clamp and stopping my cut, as you'll see here. But I actually realized that when I got to the other side that this wouldn't work, because the other side is opposite, which means that I would have to start the routering 1.5 centimeters from the start instead of ending it. And this didn't seem safe to me, but maybe I'm mistaken. So if you have a good way of doing it, then please let me know how. But for now, I'll be using some wood putty later on to hide this teeny hole that I'll end up with. I proceeded to cut the indent using my bandsaw, taking great care to only cut the amount needed. Again, visual references via some pencil marks is highly recommended. We are almost at the point now where it is time to assemble our box. And I just want to give you a little preview of how it's all going to be assembled. But before we assemble it, this is the time to do some sanding. Especially if you are using cedar like me, it tends to rip. If you were using a resaw blade over on your bandsaw, like I was, that rips it completely to shreds. But not to worry, cedar is very flexible, it's easy to sand, it won't take very long. But essentially what we have now is we have our top that we cut to size, and that's gonna go up like this. We have our two sides that are gonna be like this. We have the back piece that still has the nice curved edges. If you cut them flat, that's okay too, but I'm just gonna make this work for me. And then we have the bottom right here as well. Now, the only thing that I have not yet cut to size is the front. It is the right height right now, but the sides right here, or the width is too long. And the reason is I want to wait till I have assembled it with some glue to get an exact measurement of what my groove plus this needs to be. That will just make it a lot easier to get that really nice movement of this, because this needs to go up and down once we're done so that we can actually put in the wine box that we're trying to hide. And change it every now and then, of course, because you might run out of wine. That could happen. So this is the only piece as of this moment that has not yet been cut to size. And yeah, let's get it sanded up and let's start the assembly. Let's start the glue up. I have my bottom and I have my sides. Now, normally I would actually have done this one upside down, but I have a slight little crack right here and I want to hide it on the inside instead of having it on the outside, so my box won't be exactly grain matched, but that's okay. This is the bottom anyway, so no big deal. So this needs to go up against here like that. So we will put some glue on both sides. So while I'm assembling this box with some regular wood glue, I'm curious to know, do you prefer red or white wine, or perhaps something completely different? Let me know in the comments below. So while the box is drying, we can take an accurate measurement from the inside corner here to the inside corner on the other side. And that way we can cut our front lid to the exact size that it needs to be. Our box is looking great. I took off the clamps and it still is very unfinished. There's a few minor errors that I need to fix. One is that my top lid is just a little bit too proud, so I'll have to cut off just a hair, which is easy enough to do. I'll do it probably over on the bandsaw. You can also do it with a normal handsaw, or you can even sand it down because cedar is such a soft wood. But let's start working on the front of the box now, because this is where the fun happens. So I have my lid, and just to let you know as well, I did end up making the lid a little bit less thick because it was getting too tight into my groove. So I did sand it down just a bit until it nicely fit through here, just like that. Okay, so now we have our lid. And then I have this really fun router template that I'm gonna put on here. And the reason that I have this is because we need to make a hole here in the bottom, because that's where the wine tap is going to come out. But what's the point of getting the router out if we're not going to have a little bit of fun at the same time? So of course I made a little bit of a wine design at the same time. Now that will allow you to see through. So if you don't like that look, obviously, then don't go ahead and do that. But if you do kind of like seeing maybe what's inside of the box, maybe it'll also give your guest a good idea of whether or not you're serving red or white or something else, then this might be just a little bit of a fun indicator to add onto it. And of course I've made this router template available on my website, so you can go and grab that right now along with the plans for this box. So it's very simple. All you do is you just put it like this and then cut out the excess. You can drill a couple holes beforehand and then just use a router with a templating bit to route out the different areas. Now, if you don't have a router template and you still want to make this hole here, you do have another option. And the other option is to use a Forstner bit. Now, this is a 2-inch Forstner bit, so it is quite beefy, it's quite big. And I want to say that I paid probably close to $80 Canadian for this originally. So it is a little bit of a pricey bit. So if you don't use it, you know, maybe it's not worth the investment. There are other things you can do. You can cut it out with just a regular jigsaw as well. But this will give you the nicest results in terms of getting it straight and centered. And then once you have cut this, then all you need to do is just cut 2 lines in, and then that's gonna connect your shape perfectly. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use my router because I'm gonna be using the router to make the wine part as well. One thing that you always want to make sure of before you use a router template is that you remove as much material as you possibly can before you take your router to it, because that's going to make it a lot safer and you're going to avoid it literally shooting out at you, or at least hopefully it will not shoot out at you. No guarantees in life, right? This is tools, power tools, they have their own will sometimes. So I did the majority of the work with this thicker blade here, but now I'm gonna switch to my teeny little one so I can get all the way into the grooves. I finished the box by sanding it down to 220 grit. Then I applied a few coats of clear finish. And just like that, this wine box cover was ready to be enjoyed responsibly. I love the rustic but warm look of the cedar. It's an unusual wood for a project like this, but sometimes we don't have to box ourselves in, right? And cedar fence boards are fairly inexpensive. So for those of you who want to sell these wine covers, I have a feeling they're going to be your most popular item, as they make for really great yet unique gifts. But let me know in the comments below, how do you think that these would sell? Don't forget that I've made these plans available for you. The link is in the comments below, and so is the router template. Now I did end up making two other versions, one out of poplar wood and another one using cherry. The options are endless, and so are the wine choices. I'll see you soon in the next wood story.